Carl and Damon here from Games, Brrraains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short, and it is, they made what into a TV series, Final Fantasy Unlimited, Episode 12, Fungus, Eternal Life. Ready for this? I know while this technically is almost a two-parter, this is the first part of what I think is generally some of the best scenes I've seen of Final Fantasy Unlimited that really add depth to characters and show that they are willing to do certain things. Yes. We begin in different fashion too, as Chocobo gives us a brief rundown of what happened with Chobi, and I thought that was interesting.
Yep.
After the opening credits, Fabula references Fungus, and I was like, okay, I guess he's back to be the baddie in this, which I wasn't excited about because he's not the most interesting of them.
Yeah.
I'm wrong. By the end of this, I felt very, very wrong. The Earl Tyrant is holding a piece of Omega, a small crystal. Oscar explains that Omega wants to destroy, but if that hunger is quelled, it turns into this thing until it can be awakened again. So a sort of hibernation. I was like, oh, thank you for offering that cool explanation. Yeah. The Old Tyrant is unimpressed until Herba reveals that she has another piece, even though it cost her a lot of troops. Big fan of them just finding pieces.
Yes.
They've done well, as Peace also has a piece, but Evan is wowed by the piece that Mackenzie has. A very big piece, and the Earl Tyrant offers to make him a lord, turning to force him into a fivesome. Interesting? Interesting. Fungus now arrives, but it turns out he hasn't found a piece, and the others mock him. And Earl Tyrant suggests that he's going to get very mad. So we now cut to the kids asleep on the train, and Lisa is deep in thought. Yu wakes up and he wonders why he doesn't see her sleep, suggesting she must rest. She fobs him off with some nonsense about looking after those in need. They do this thing with Lisa, you know?
Yeah.
I now wakes and declares she's hungry before Chobi takes a bite out of her hair. Wah wah.
Yeah.
Desperate to prove himself, Fungus is now stalking the halls when Oscar arrives. He reveals that Crux has found a place that can increase the power of his strength. Meanwhile, Kaze is walking through a crumbling area and seeing the clouds, seeming to momentarily wonder who his actual enemy is, White Cloud or Omega, but then settles on Mackenzie. So we are jumping all over the place here.
Yeah.
It's because we're about to set the show up to head off in a completely different direction.
100%.
A really, really different one. We did tell you at the very first episode that this show is famous for almost having like one season but split in two.
Yeah.
Oscar has brought Fungus to his hometown, which should be impossible as it was consumed by chaos. But he reveals that this piece was taken in by Wonderland. Fungus is overjoyed and emotional to discover he's not alone and declares that he will restore his homeland, restoring his strength and use the power to find Omega. I was like, okay.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, God, this is a bit... Is Oscar building his own army here, getting Fungus on the side? Look what I've given you. And you can rebuild your strength and be on my team. Quite interesting. Stop doing that just because you've seen all the episodes.
I know,
Stop doing it. We're not doing that. Focus on this. I wouldn't do that because it means nothing now. You can't go, well, if you watch episode 21, the gang leave the latest station and find themselves atop a large mushroom in a world of giant mushrooms. Chobi transforms and flies them safely across the land. They find themselves deep amongst the mushrooms but smell something delicious. Being so hungry, I is tempted to eat one of the mushrooms. Don't do that. Yeah. But Lisa points out that they need to be careful. This is Fungus and it can be dangerous. Also, so can Lord Fungus, who is here, of course. Before we can do anything further, though, Kaze arrives and they face off while Lisa notes that something is different about this place compared to anywhere else they have been. Kaze shoots at Fungus, and as we've seen time and time again, non-gun is useless. Yeah. Like, we see this all the time. He shoots his normal gun, and it's just like, they're nothing.
Yep.
Don't bother. I'd like him just to use it once and it work. Fungus is confident too, as the mushrooms give him power, and he can use it to his advantage, sucking up some of the spores to grow huge and knocking Kaze away. Now, I will admit I wasn't too invested here, because I kind of just presumed it was going to go the same way it always does. And it does, to a degree.
Yeah.
But in a different way. At first it was like, here we go. And now Kaze's going to say, the Magan has awakened. The soil power has been chosen. And then we, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so on. Kaze is fine after being knocked away. And it's Magan time. See? Exactly as expected. Fungus isn't bothered though, as he now believes his body's immortal. And I actually wrote here, bet it's not. The summon is Ipsim. The resulting explosion is intense, and of course our heroes are caught up in it because Kaze's a dick and doesn't care about anyone else. Thankfully then though, Super Chobi, which is what I'm calling him, Super Chobi, flies them away. So basically anytime they're in danger, we now got Superman to come along, Super Chobi to save them.
So I always thought, because do you remember the summon, the Chocobo summon? That's why
I guess it's a tribute to that, maybe something similar to that, yeah. When the dust clears though, Fungus is still alive, revealing that its power comes from the place they're in. While he's there, he can't be defeated. I was like, okay. But then, like, to drag this episode down and really slow it down, we then get another Magun sequence. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? That's lazy, right? Doing it again? It seems as though Fungus talked too much, though, and revealed his weakness. So Kaze summons Phoenix to burn Fungus from inside and burst out. The resulting inferno destroys everything, and we see Kaze in the flames. I was like, my God, that is villainous.
Yeah.
That is as close to a certain Final Fantasy villain that we're going to get.
Yep.
Fungus is still not dead though, and we see that the land is okay. He claims the land is indestructible and smashes Kaze away. And then as the others watch on, they realise they have to help, and this is where the episode ends. I was like, oh, okay. That's unexpected.
Yep.
Like, you know, we normally obviously go a little further with this, but no, this is effectively a two-parter because the next one will deal with this sort of incident because it looks like Fungus can't be defeated. Now, of course he will be.
Of course, yeah.
But how it's going to be was a bit intriguing. I was like, okay, I'm at least excited and pleased to see this go in a different direction.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I thought this was a better episode following the last one, because we continue to play around and hint about what Oscar's motivations might be, and seeing him kind of manipulate Fungus, but also getting this sort of like the scene where Fungus talks about his world being destroyed by chaos, and you realise, oh, is he a victim too? Like, destroyed by chaos and then sucked into Wonderland, like that makes him a victim too.
Yeah.
And the character does get a bit emotional about seeing his homeland. Like, I thought that was a really cool touch.
Indeed, yeah.
So I ended up really enjoying that. What I don't enjoy is all the basic shit we've seen before. Having two Magun sequences in this done the same is unacceptable, guys. It's filler as fuck.
I mean, I get it, because obviously that's what happens in the game. You summon, but obviously we haven't got the ability to do skip.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
but then we're not what. I agree with what you're saying, but this isn't a goddamn game,
Yeah,
man.
of course.
Come on, man. Do it in a shorter fashion. And certainly don't do 2 in 1 episode. But that's just me bitching and moaning, because obviously they were trying to fill this side of the story in preparation for what would come next. But yeah, enjoyable. No complaints.
Yep.
Fungus Eternal Life, episode 12 of Final Fantasy Unlimited. You got any thoughts you want to share? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It is gratefully appreciated. You can find us over at gbhbl.com, our full website, where reviews, news and so much more goes up daily. We're also on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, at GBHBL. Just search for GBHBL and you will find us out there. We also have merchandise on sale. You can access the shop via the website.